Imagine a border, not just any border, but one that slices through a small island, dividing families, communities, and even graveyards. This border is not just a line on a map, it's a line that cuts through the very fabric of people's lives. This isn't some dystopian fantasy, it's the reality of Northern Ireland after Brexit. A reality that has reshaped the landscape and the lives of those who call this place home. The border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland has long been a source of tension and violence. Decades of conflict have left deep scars, both physical and emotional. But for nearly 25 years, the Good Friday Agreement held the promise of peace. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol that reconciliation was possible. Brexit, however, has thrown gasoline on the smoldering embers of division. The fragile peace is now under threat, and the future is uncertain. The problem lies in the very essence of Brexit, the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the European Union. This decision has far-reaching consequences that extend beyond politics. See, before Brexit, both Northern Ireland, part of the UK, and the Republic of Ireland, an EU member, enjoyed the benefits of the single market. This meant seamless trade and travel, fostering economic and social ties. Goods and people flowed freely across the border. It was more than just convenience. It was a way of life that many had come to depend on. But with Brexit, that invisible line suddenly became a very real obstacle. Customs checks, regulatory barriers, and political tensions have turned the once seamless border into a point of contention and uncertainty. The 2016 Brexit referendum sent shockwaves across the UK, but nowhere felt the tremors more acutely than Northern Ireland. The vote to leave the EU was deeply divisive in Northern Ireland, with 56% voting to remain. Many feared that Brexit would reignite the sectarian violence that had plagued the region for decades. And those fears weren't unfounded. The Good Friday Agreement, the cornerstone of peace in Northern Ireland, hinged on the open border. It allowed people in Northern Ireland to identify as Irish, British, or both, and it fostered cross-border cooperation. Brexit threatened to unravel all of that. Suddenly, the very identity of Northern Ireland was called into question. The economic fallout from Brexit hit Northern Ireland hard. Businesses that relied on frictionless trade with the Republic of Ireland faced mountains of new paperwork and customs checks. The supply chains that kept supermarkets stocked and factories humming were thrown into chaos. The impact wasn't just on big businesses. Small businesses, the backbone of many communities, struggled to cope with the added bureaucracy and costs. Farmers found themselves cut off from their traditional markets. The uncertainty and instability took a toll, fueling anxiety and resentment. Section 4. Social and Political Tremors. The political landscape in Northern Ireland, never exactly a picture of tranquility, became even more fractured. The Democratic Unionist Party, or DUP, staunch supporters of Brexit, found themselves increasingly isolated. Sinn Féin, the largest nationalist party, capitalized on the growing discontent, their calls for a united Ireland resonating more strongly than ever. The divisions ran deep, splitting families and communities. The old wounds of the past, barely healed, threatened to reopen. The peace that had held for a generation felt fragile, vulnerable to the tremors of Brexit. Section 5. The Windsor Framework. A bridge too far? In a bid to mitigate the damage caused by Brexit, the UK and the EU negotiated the Windsor Framework, a complex and multifaceted agreement. This intricate agreement aimed to ease the flow of goods between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, while still maintaining the integrity of the EU's single market, which is crucial for trade and economic stability. It introduced green lanes for goods staying in Northern Ireland, simplifying customs procedures and reducing delays for local businesses, and red lanes for those destined for the Republic of Ireland and the EU, ensuring that EU regulations are upheld for goods crossing the border. But the Windsor Framework has been met with mixed reactions from various stakeholders. Some see it as a pragmatic solution, a way to keep the peace and protect the Good Friday Agreement, which has been instrumental in maintaining stability in the region. Others, particularly the DUP, view it as a betrayal, arguing that it weakens Northern Ireland's ties to the UK and undermines their sovereignty. The debate over the Windsor Framework highlights the deep divisions that Brexit has exacerbated, revealing the complex and often conflicting interests at play in this ongoing saga. Section 6. Looking ahead, a future in flux. So what does the future hold for Northern Ireland? It's a question that weighs heavily on the minds of many. The truth is, no one knows for sure. The uncertainty is palpable, and it affects everyone from politicians to everyday citizens. The political landscape remains volatile, the economic outlook uncertain. Businesses are struggling and communities are feeling the strain. The Windsor Framework, while a step towards stability, offers no guarantees. It has not healed the underlying divisions that have plagued the region for decades. Some predict that Brexit will ultimately lead to a united Ireland, a prospect that is both hopeful and contentious. As more and more people in Northern Ireland question their place in the UK, the debate intensifies. Others believe that the ties that bind Northern Ireland to the UK remain strong, rooted in history and shared experiences. One thing is certain: the future of Northern Ireland will be shaped by the choices made in London, Dublin, and most importantly, Belfast. The decisions made in these capitals will have far-reaching consequences. The peace process, once a beacon of hope, now stands at a crossroads. The achievements of the past are at risk. The path forward remains shrouded in uncertainty. Every step taken will be crucial. The path forward remains shrouded in uncertainty. The fog of political and social challenges makes it hard to see what lies ahead. The only certainty is that the journey will be fraught with challenges. The resilience of the people will be tested. The stakes, however, are too high to fail. The future of Northern Ireland depends on the courage and determination of its people and leaders.